Let's speak about Lucid Motors, baby. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor, and today we are going to be taking a look at a stock that has a very special place in my heart. It's the first stock I ever took a 400% gain out of. We literally got in on day one. We were one of the first to be covering this bad boy on YouTube. Anyone who was around back in those days will know this was peak. This was peak stocks. This was as exciting as it got. I mean, you can see this run up that happened over the span of literally a month and a half or so before the huge drop came. But oh, it has been a journey and a half with Lucid. I am still holding the majority of my shares. I'm risk-free in the company, and I haven't spoken about them too much as of late since coming back, so I want to make a quick video dedicated to them. Now, one thing I will say about Lucid is I still absolutely love the long-term outlook with this company, and I do genuinely think it's going to be a very successful company in the long term. There has not been much news, much substantial news over the past couple of months with these guys, which is somewhat leading to this downward move. Now, what also led to the downward move was the fact that it was ridiculously overvalued when it was at these levels, but it was one of the most hyped up stocks when they went public. And you have to remember, this was a different time. The start of 2021 was a different time than we're in right now. Things went up a lot more easily than they do in this current market. And this was so anticipated by EV investors that the hype got out of control. I remember these days here, I'm fairly sure I live streamed this day in particular, just watching the stock go up and up and up. And it was insane. But today, we're not here just to reminisce. We're going to speak about what is going on with them. In particular, there's one article I want to go through a few points here. Lucid by the bottom this Black Friday. So obviously, this is a little bit old at this stage, but the information is very relevant. I want to speak about what hedge funds and analysts have been doing. I want to speak about, you know, the Saudi investment fund a little bit. And of course, towards the end of the video, we will take a look at the stocks chart, see where it's at, and see what we can potentially expect to happen next. So right before all of that juicy information, please, my friends, could I ask you to give an early thumbs up on this video. Really would mean a lot to me. I appreciate all of the support since coming back. Doing my best to bring you guys these daily uploads. And yeah, I appreciate all of you. And please do subscribe for more content if you find yourself coming back to the channel, or if you find some value from this video. So we are going to start it off here. This article speaking about Lucid buying the bottom this Black Friday. Now, obviously, this is just one guy on Seeking Alpha, Victor. This is the first time he actually initiated coverage on Lucid. So to be fair, he's not somebody who's just been screaming buy when it was in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, which is important to know, because there are some analysts you look at who were just screaming buy the whole time. So he has to say Lucid is an undervalued hyper-growth company in the lucrative EV segment. The company has enormous revenue growth potential and should eventually become highly profitable. They have illustrated the ability to mass-produce vehicles, and deliveries should surge in the coming years, which is something we will spend a good bit of time speaking about today. Moreover, the company has a new SUV scheduled to go into production next year. Lucid's revenue should increase substantially, driving its stock price significantly higher. So that's kind of the overall outlook here. And again, I'm not going to speak about everything here, but a couple of things I do want to speak about. Lucid is planning to launch a mid-size luxury sedan in 2025. Now, I know, guys, this is still a couple of years away. Maybe if it's delayed, it's 3+ years away. But again, we're trying to look at the long-term picture for Lucid here today. This new product could eventually mean the introduction of a crossover from the company as well. Lucid's strategy seems like it's coming right out of Tesla's playbook, and the company may pull it off. A mid-sized luxury sedan would make Lucid a direct competitor to Tesla's Model 3 and other top EVs in the space. And EV sales are exploding, and this is very clear to see. I spoke about this on the channel as of late. If you look at NIO numbers, look at Li Auto numbers, look at BYD numbers, look at Tesla numbers, everybody is reaching record quarterly and monthly sales. If Lucid eats into some of the Model 3's market share, its revenues could skyrocket in future years. And I mean, this is something we've spoken about from day one with Lucid. They need some amount of market share to warrant any sort of a decent stock price in the future. So the real question comes down to, can they capture some of that market? Lucid's been on a wild ride over the last 2 years. The stock hit a post-SPAC deal high of around $65. So again, from where we got in about 500+%. We see Lucid trading around its pre-SPAC IPO price of $10 right now, a whopping 85% below the company's all-time high. So again, the people who did get greedy at the top are burned right now. Despite the pro price action, now is the time you want to buy the stock. Investors were greedy at $50 to $60, and they are fearful now when the stock is $10. The downside potential is minimal now, and Lucid's stock price should recover soon. Now, I'm not going to necessarily agree with that statement, despite the fact I am a Lucid bull. I don't think it has to recover soon. I don't think any EV stock has to recover soon. there's just so many macroeconomic headwinds that need to turn into tailwinds in the near future for it to happen. Now, I did make a video speaking about 3 EV tailwinds very recently. If you want to check that video out, they are in place, but there's still a lot going on outside of those. Lucid is a unique company with hyper growth potential in the lucrative EV space. The company is already producing thousands of vehicles and should expand operations significantly in future years. Lucid stock is dramatically oversold. Lucid should increase revenue substantially, illustrating solid profitability potential and driving its stock price considerably higher. Now, I can agree with the fact that I do think it's oversold, but I think a lot of stocks are oversold right now, which again is the time to buy long term, most certainly. But you don't want to get caught in the middle of an oversell session. You would rather be a little bit more patient, and maybe you will end up paying a little bit more for your shares, but I'd rather pay an extra 10% for my stocks when the downside is no longer 50+%, when, you know, things are looking a lot better. So I still would recommend, guys, a little bit of caution with any EV play in this market. In 2021, Lucid had about 27 million in revenues. This year, the company could have about 750 million. So, I mean, absolute hyper growth. Next year's revenues are set to surge approximately 2.6 billion, roughly a 250% year-over-year gain. So, guys, the growth is there. It is one of the EV companies who is very much so at an early stage, very much so at that growth stage, but the growth is there. It is happening. Moreover, we should see substantial 50 to 100% year-over-year growth for several years with Lucid. The company could rake in 12 to 15 billion in revenues by 2026. That is higher end estimates. I don't know if I quite believe this number just yet. We're going to have to wait and see. It could happen, but things would have to go very well. If the company pulls off this performance, Lucid stock may be trading at around 1.2 to 1.5 times 2026 expected sales, which is more than affordable and puts the stock price very, very high, as you can see here, for 2026. Now, you can see some estimates here for future numbers. If you look at revenue growth, I'm not going to necessarily agree or disagree with these numbers. I think that they honestly might be a little bit high, but we're just going to have to wait and see on that one. Not even the best of the best analysts will be able to tell you compactly what they are going to end up being. Provided that Lucid can provide 400,000 vehicles annually, the car company should achieve massive revenues in future years. Obviously, if we use a modest 75,000 average selling price, I think the average selling price honestly is going to be higher than that, but that would be around $30 billion in annual revenues. Now, that is once we are selling 400,000 vehicles annually, which is a long way away. Along with the new factory in Saudi Arabia, that would be a production capacity of approximately 500,000 vehicles annually. Combined, this could be about 35 to 40 billion in revenues annually, and then of course the plan would be to expand further once they can actually move that many vehicles, which again, guys, is years and years away. So Lucid could expand revenues more rapidly than projections apply. Lucid stock could move substantially higher, increasing by tenfold or more by the end of the decade. And I don't disagree with that statement, honestly. A lot of people will think I'm crazy, but it could well happen, in my opinion, from $10 a share. Now, a little bit about what hedge funds and analysts have been saying about Lucid lately. Adding to the speculative sentiment is that Lucid ranks among the EV stocks hedge funds are buying. July of last year, institutional ownership was set at 2.34%. The end of the latest read, end of October, it's at 11.5%. And keep in mind as well, the Saudi investment fund owns, I believe, close to 60% of Lucid. If we look at the price targets, we can see actual price targets 5 that go back as far as September. A rated rating from Citigroup put them at a $28 price target and a buy. Cantor Fitzgerald, 27th of September, initiated coverage at overweight with a $23 price target. RF Lafferty, just last month, literally 3 weeks ago or so, overweight rating at $23. Oh no, sorry, lowered their target to $17, which still represents a 70% increase. Now, only recently, Morgan Stanley lowered their target to $10, which, to be fair, they hit on the button. And Everscore, just very recently, only a matter of days ago, initiated coverage with an inline rating of $12 a share. The same day, they initiated coverage on Rivian and Fisker as well. But yeah, $12. So you can see, in general, what we see from analysts. Like, there's not much point in going back to these ones from, you know, early or late 2021 even. They just haven't updated them. But analysts in general see the price going up over the next year. Now, we can see Evercore had to say the company has both extensive vertical integration and a leading e-powertrain aimed at the ultra-premium EV segment with their debut Air sedan, and plans for an even more premium Gravity SUV, as well as a lower-cost CUV. Lucid was initiated with their inline rating. I mean, if I bring you back to earlier this year, you may well remember Lucid landed a 100,000 EV order from its Saudi investors. Their largest shareholder, the government of Saudi Arabia, which is connected to the kingdom's public investment fund that owns 61% of Lucid, has made an initial commitment to buy 50,000 of Lucid's EV with an option to purchase an additional 50,000 vehicles over the same 10-year time frame. This made the stocks pop, But I mean, the sales are there, and the Saudi investment fund will keep Lucid going. Now, the reason I'm quite speculative in regards to what Lucid's going to do in their term is we're at unprecedented price points, okay? So we pretty much hit where they went public at. There is no support whatsoever left. The last long-term support has been broken through. And that would lead me to be a little bit nervous in trying to predict the short term in any way whatsoever, especially considering the fact that we are not getting the most updates from Lucid themselves. Me personally, I'm just holding tight on my Lucid shares. I'm waiting to start consistently getting more news about the company, and then I will contemplate adding or waiting a little bit longer before I add to my position. But my friends, that is a quick update on Lucid for all of you. If you watched all the way to the end, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really do appreciate you being here. From the bottom of my heart, your support means the world to me. If you did enjoy, all I ask, please, is that you hit that like button and subscribe if you want more content. I will see you with another video very soon. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace.